A family's desperate search for their beloved sister who went missing in Maui 3 months ago. The last time anyone heard from Laura was when she texted a friend about where she was camping, saying she was, quote, meeting all the locals. That was February 21st. Then nothing, nada. No communication at all. Maui cops found Laura's van near a homeless encampment. The keys were still in the ignition. Her cell phone was never found. However, part of a phone similar to hers was discovered nearby. Phone records show count them, two mysterious calls made from Laura's cell phone the very night she disappeared. Who made those calls? Okay, who made those calls on her phone? That's key. Are cops in Hawaii doing everything they can or should to solve the tragic mystery of what happened to this innocent young woman? Issues reached out to police in Hawaii. We did not hear back before airtime. Mike Brooks and Brian Russell back with me, and I am joined right now by Tim Vogel, Laura's brother. Tim, thank you for joining us. We can barely imagine your pain right now as you frantically search for your sister. You've devoted your life to this cause ever since she went missing 3 months ago. What are police telling you about this case? Do you feel they want to solve it?
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me on. And, you know, the answer to that question is we're really frustrated right now. And despite repeated attempts to really get in touch with the police, we haven't heard any communication with them in the last 4 weeks.
That's pretty shocking. I mean, what, you call them and they don't return your calls? You get a voicemail and they don't return your calls?
Called, emailed tips, emailed them questions, everything, and we just have not had any communication with them.
Wow. Mike Brooks, you're the law enforcement analyst. That doesn't sound good to me.
No, I mean, I can't make any excuses for the Maui Police Department. I mean, if they say there's no there's no issues of foul play, they think, but she just vanished, Jane, and these calls are a mystery to me. Where were these calls? You can always go back and try to find out, where the cell phones were pinging to or from. Is there any record of that? I'm not hearing of any.
Yeah, and how can they say it's not suspicious when her keys were found in the ignition? When's the last time any of us just parked our car and left the keys in the ignition of our car as we waltzed away?
Exactly. And all her camping gear was in the car, was there in the vehicle, but her keys, but her wallet and cell phone were not. And they found a bag that was similar, but they can't say for sure if it was hers or not.
We've actually got some new information on that's just in. Two key pieces of evidence, Laura's wallet and her cell phone. Now, we just learned something new about her wallet. Initial reports were that cops did not find her wallet. But the family now says that when cops released Laura's van back to them, voila, there was the wallet. I got to ask you this, Tim Vogel, how is it possible that cops can go through a car and not find a wallet in the car and then report it as there was no wallet when the wallet was right there in the car?
Yeah, I don't know how to answer that question. I know that the vehicle was said to be processed. Once it was processed, it was released to us. Once we got into that vehicle, we found the wallet immediately.
So what do you make of that? That the cops didn't look hard enough, under the seat for the wallet?
Yeah, I don't know how to answer that.
Where did they find the wallet, Tim? Where did you find it?
The wallet was found in the middle console underneath a plastic piece.
Wow.
Were all the contents, Tim, still in the wallet? Were all her personal papers and credit cards and everything still in the wallet?
Everything, and that was a real point of frustration. Us as a family did a lot of legwork finding out if there was any kind of financial transactions at her banks, on her credit cards, all of that stuff, to weeks later find the wallet there completely intact.
Now, what about this phone call? 2 calls made to a number that did not show up in her address book. The calls were placed actually to a prepaid phone card in the possession of some mystery individual. What do you know about that? Apparently that mystery individual was tracked down and questioned?
That piece of evidence is significant, and one of the reasons we're pushing so hard to get the FBI involved in this case. The last statement I gave on your last show was that the FBI is involved and continues to be involved. But since we've lost communication, we don't know if the FBI involvement's being pursued or even happening. But that's a
Tim?
really important piece for us.
Tim, I would suggest that and if you call the FBI office, there's always a duty agent on duty at the FBI office there in Honolulu. Call them and follow up with them. That would be my advice to you.
Now, let me ask you this question. Apparently, there were other missing persons in the area, and there was also a person of interest at one point. What can you tell us about that, Tim?
Well, I mean, because it's an ongoing investigation, I can't talk much about that person of interest, but we are pushing hard to have the FBI involved partially for that reason. There's clearly a history of violence and missing people in that very specific area, and I can say that if Laura knew about the history of that area, she wouldn't have been down there and we wouldn't have this conversation. In fact, someone went missing just a couple miles down the road a month after Laura went missing.
Does this
Jane,
have to do with the homeless encampment?
I don't know. I mean, I do know that specific area is used for meth dealing, for drug dealing, for meth parties, and frequented by meth users. So it's just a dangerous area, and there's a history of violence there.